Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Scorpio channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message for Scorpio. Know that energy is fluid. Roles can be reversed. Just interpret the message as the best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I look at everything, but we take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, to see how they play out as karmic themes, to help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is, right? Want to know that because we get stuck in ruminating when we're dealing with karmics. And when we ruminate and we get more and more and more and more angry, we can't really see anything or feel anything. But understand, if a person's able to make you ruminate on what they did, well, that just means that you need healing. So my readings have a therapy style to them, so it might not be your thing. However, if it is your thing, understand I look at everything, like I said, because I think everything is important. But what's most important is the healing aspect, like why you're attracting that person into your life and what you need to do in order to heal the effects of that trauma. And really, so you can see the results that you want to in your life. Now, does that mean that your person, if they're, committed to being a jerk, that all of a sudden they're going to be nice? No. What it means, though, is that you can avoid negative karmic consequences. However, sometimes you can get the person to do what you want them to do because they themselves have came to that realization. But the way that you deal with it is going to be different than how you normally deal with it if you're stuck in a situation, right? And a situation is like, why I did this, it's like you're stuck in a Mexican standstill. You have like a cord to you with this person, but neither one is willing to compromise. And so we have to, again, do something for our benefit. So, like I said, if you like to go deep within the readings, this is going to be your reading. Anything of any importance or relevance to the channel, you know where to find it. It's in the description box below. All right, let's see what the underlying energy is. Let's get something. Let's get different energy. I'm going to just pull and not look. I'm going to pull. And then I want to get, I want to pull from a different deck. Just to mix it up a little bit, 3 at a time. Why not? Let's see what Spirit has to tell us. Okay. Water underneath the bridge, disgust, loathing, and determination. Well, you're in separation from someone that kind of knows that you're got to the point where you're disgusted by this person. And so they're not really sure. They knew for a while that you were, but they're hoping maybe it's water underneath the bridge. Maybe you still have feelings for them because there was a very strong connection. So maybe that disgust or loathing really isn't that. Maybe because disgust and loathing to me means that it's permanently over. It's like you're not interested. But this person is saying maybe it's not. Maybe you're just see you because I don't really believe you had such a strong spirit. You also know that it's probably over. Don't you kid yourself? Because hey, this energy of disgust and loathing is pretty heavy energy. But again, this person likes to downplay what they do. So they're like, maybe it's like it wasn't really that. They're trying to talk themselves off the ledge, right? Because they already know that the relationship is over, in my opinion. That's what I get from that. Now, let's see. But again, I want to see you. Now, that's new at least, and that's because I'm not feeling you anymore. And so this person normally gets what they want too. All right. Let's see. Finances are a problem, though, and so what matters that matters is because this person didn't give you anything, they held back, so they want to fix this. So part of them fixing it would be that they would have to wine and dine you and take you out and make you feel special and make you feel, they'd have to win you over. and they can't do it because they don't have the money. Can we start over? I don't know. But like I told you, this person that wants to come back and like see, but the way that they normally, and you know what? This is good. And I'm going to tell you why it's good. And I'm getting this intuitively, so I have to give it to you. It's like this person can't come back and buy their way into your life. They have to actually emotionally show up. They actually have to give. That's how. So I'm kind of feeling like this is a real deep soul connection. It's because it's almost like the dynamic of the way that the connection's unfolding. Like this person can't buy their way out of what they did, which they normally do. And I'm not saying that you would fall for that. However, you might get tempted. You know what I mean? And it's like that. It's like, I'm not ready. This person feels like they're not ready because of those finances. I pulled away because I'm overwhelmed with all the things that are going on in my life. Well, I feel like this person lost their job or they lost their stability, which is why finances are a problem. And so they're not finished dealing with it. So this person might have met you while they were like in the process of ending a relationship, but probably said that it was over. There was so much I want to tell you. Yeah, I'm sure, because I feel like you've been in separation from this person for a while, but you've been courted to them for a while. And so that courtedness is like, enough already. You would get disgusted with it. You'd be pissed off because you're like, why are you holding on to my energy? You don't want to give anything. You don't want to do anything, but you're going to hold on to my energy. And I feel like in the beginning, maybe this person was like hoping that you would react and so that they wouldn't have to come back. But now it's like, they're like, you're not coming back. And they don't really know whether it's over or not. They know it's over, but they're like, you have to see me. Maybe if you see me, you won't be able to handle it almost. That's where this person is. So they're strategizing. I feel connected to you like no other I've had. And that's what I'm telling you. It's like this person, I feel like, had this connection the whole time. They denied it. We'll look into seeing why they denied it. But if they're going through financial issues, you better believe that there was like either a karmic, or they lost their job, or there's addictions. You know what I'm saying? That there's imbalances that this person did. I'm sorry that things didn't work out for us. It's again, they're thinking and they're contemplating about it. You are the best thing that ever happened to me, which I feel like it's what this person is saying is, really sorry that things didn't work out. I want to fix it. And, I have a connection. I've had a connection to you this whole time. And I've tried to walk away from it. I've tried to do things with it, but it's always still there. So it's as irritating for them as it is for you, where you're like, the fuck? Like, are you just gonna sit there corded to me? What are you waiting for? It's like, it's just as irritating for them. So everyone's getting impatient. I still want to be friends, but it's hard right now. So this person is like, I can't even come towards you because I'm overwhelmed with everything that's in my life. I can't even really be your friend right now because, it's whatever's happening. Their life is falling apart. So that's why they're in separation. That's why you're not getting anything. And that's why and you could be like, I wouldn't even be with them in a romantic way. They're like, I can't even offer you friendship. Can't do anything. My life is falling apart. I don't have money. I don't have anything. All I know is I still have a connection to you. So it's almost like, picture this. This person's like in a world that everything is collapsing. And then the one thing that's there that they are certain of is connection to you, which may sound like over the top. But if a person's really like in their ego And there was always a spiritual connection. They just weren't giving into that spiritual connection. And there's like a like a tower moment, a dark night of the soul, like a then this person would go through an awakening. That's the phoenix rising from the ashes. That's what that means. It's like you crashed and burned, but they're gonna like come back. And the way that they would come back is when they would look for somebody that mirrored that energy, is what I feel. This problem has always dealt with, kind of being detached, like distance, like you feel always felt like this person was like could be there but not really there. And I feel like it's because they had other obligations, clearly, and those other obligations that made this person emotionally not give you what they should have. And so yes, they grieved over it, but this person learned to live fragmented in pieces, right? That's what fragmented means. It means compartmentalized. It means I'm going to have you as a friend and I'll be loyal to you when it comes to like paying bills or to like whatever it is. The loyalty is there, but for you, I have this connection to. I have this deep connection that I tried to squash, and I even tried to live compartmentalized, but you wouldn't have that. And that's the thing, like this person was hoping that you would have reacted the way that other people acted, and that's not what happened. You don't act that way. So now that their life is falling apart, they're seeing it, and so this says their inner child was wounded when their parents couldn't respond to them in a way that they needed them to, and they tend to react from that wound. And that's why, again, I feel like they were with somebody, but you might have never known that they were with somebody because this person learned to live compartmentalized. So even if you tapped into them, you'd be like, no one was there. It's like, yeah, that person might have like disguised themselves as a cleaning lady, the person that took care of the kids, if there were kids, the person that compartmentalized is that. It's like, I'm not like, I don't give everything to one person because I'm connected to someone that I'm not passionate about. I don't have a feeling one way or the other about. I'm guilted into that being considered, like I'm guilted into staying with that person. It's like I don't want to be with that person. I didn't even want to give into this connection with you, is what this person was like. They were like, I walked away from it. It was like because it was too impossible to even fix. And so like this person just feels like as time goes by that you're not as angry, or you're like getting on with your life. And though that terrifies them, I feel like it also makes them feel like, well, maybe you're not as angry. Maybe you'll see things differently. So that's what this person is like, is hoping for. You show up in my dreams and it helps me process buried memories. I don't know about that. I just feel like it's like there's a past life connection. And this person like just has that knowing of, I don't know how I know you. I just feel like I've always known you, and that this is something a lot bigger than just a relationship. So that's what I think that they feel. I'm afraid that you're going to meet someone else before I'm ready to be with you for good. Like I said, whoever, like whatever they're doing, they're tied up in their situations right now. But they want to, it's again, they can feel the sexual energy coming back together. And understand this person has a lot of passion for you. Now, you might be like, I've never been with them. Well, it's the attraction, it's the chemistry, and you've been in separation from them and they've been connected to someone that they don't want. So you better believe they've been living in their imagination. And the imagination always makes you look a lot better than you actually are too. So understand, it's this person lived compartmentalized. There's a want for love. There's a want for passion. And the thing is, it's like they know that it's beyond physical attraction, that it needs to be elevated to the expression of deep unconditional love, where it's not. Because again, they kept it low vibing, connected to somebody else. is what you know. But they can't help themselves. It's like they were fighting themselves. They were like, I wasn't looking for this. I didn't, this kind of just kind of happened. And the being that it just kind of happened, it's like this person I feel like is like actually held back from that person that they live with. And when I say held back, they're not doing nothing. Remember, this person lived compartmentalized. They weren't screwing that person, but you better believe that they were showing up emotionally for that person. And that person's not giving them emotionally, which is why their life is falling apart because this person's holding themselves back because they're like, I don't really want to be with you, with whoever they're with. It's again, it's like before it didn't might have not mattered. And maybe it just didn't. It's like as you surrender your 3D expectations, I surrender to our 5D connection. This is very twin flamey, extremely twin flamey. And I'm going to tell you why. Because it's like, hey, the 3D expectation is, hey, what are you going to do for me? You need to come back. You need to apologize. You need to like take me out to dinner. You need to like buy me a fucking car. You need to say you're sorry every day. I don't care whatever your demands are, they're gonna be. This person's like, I don't know what your expectations are gonna be of me because I know already that I broke this connection and I have no money. And that's like, and I'm getting out of whatever the fuck this is, which looks like it's a shit storm. And that's the thing. So this person has a wall up because they're like, I don't know. And then they said, and then I'll surrender to our 5D connection, which is, yeah, we have a spiritual connection, but I don't know what the hell that means. What are you, a witch? What are you, a warlock or something? Like, who are you? Like, it's like, I didn't even want this connection. I was minding my own business, living fragmented, and you came along. It's like I wasn't planning on this. I'm living in a shit storm right now. And so understand that's what that means. Because that's twin flamey. It's like that's your other half. It's like this person's not spiritually inclined. They're not emotionally intelligent. I mean, they live fragmented. Who lives that way? And then, and you may not have as much physical world knowledge, which is maybe like this person doesn't normally have a problem making money. Remember, that's how they were always able to get what they wanted. They bought people. They can't do that with you. Again, so that's the issue. Right now, oh, this is twin flamey energy because it's like, but right now, your inner child are healing, are crying out, and that you both need to comfort them and become their parents. You both need healing, which sounds like this is before the twin flames get together. Like you're not together yet. It's like, and that, so we always know that there's a runner and a chaser, and then they change, right? Where now I feel like you're going to be the runner and this person's going to be the chaser, but in separation, which is a lot of time with the twin flame connection because you're polar opposite. You don't think the way that this person thinks. You don't do things the way that this person does. It's like you don't even make sense to each other a lot of times, like you're speaking a different language. And where spirit says, you know what, neither one of you are wrong, but neither one of you are right. Because God says, I'm both those energies. I'm masculine energy, which is fact, structure. Again, the physical realm, the master of the physical realm, mathematics. Again, numerology is, again, the language of the universe. It goes along with sacred geometry. It's math, it's structure, it's logic, it's linear, where spirit says, and you're very like feminine energy, and you may be a guy, but it doesn't matter. You have a lot of feminine energy, and that's creative, and that's intuitive, and that's nurturing, and that's where you both need to even out. You're both on the opposite sides of the spectrum. Like you're in the basement, and he's in the penthouse. So you got to meet on like the 5th floor. There's only 10, really 11 stories in the building, and you got to get down to the 5th floor, which is considered halfway. And Spirit's saying it's like, that's how am I going to get you to do that? And like that, you don't like that energy. Math? Are you fucking kidding me? Ugh. give me a headache. It's like where a spirit's saying, well, you got to learn how to work with money. You got to learn how to work with currencies of the physical world. What is your bank account? Oh, you bought another outfit. Oh, you see that person's poor. They're gonna look good though when they're homeless in their nice clothes and all those handbags and the makeup and everything. Or maybe they have a collection of baseball cards. They're gonna look real good out on the corner. And over here, this person, they're not gonna be able to be with anyone like that gives them emotion because they don't give emotion. Imagine being in a relationship with someone that is so stiff. The only thing they know how to talk about is business. How fucking boring, right? So the spirit is saying inner child needs healing. It's like both parties learned how to survive differently. That's the issue. It's like, and spirit says, so it wasn't wrong, but it was a survival mechanism. Someone was very intuitive, they're very psychic, and again, and the other ones had their nose in a book the whole time, or they were building something or grounded or do just the way that they learned how to deal with it. And the spirit says, neither one are wrong. Sometimes I feel like you're speaking to me in my head and it triggers me because I wonder how much you can see. And that's the thing. It's like this person is like, wait a minute, we have this connection and everything, but does that mean that you can see everything that's going on, what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, when I'm doing it? Because I don't like aspects of myself and I wear a mask sometimes. So I don't want you to see that. It's like, why were you prying into me? Where meanwhile you're like I have nothing better to do than sit around and pry into your life 24/7. But that's what this person does. They're trying to pry into your life. So they're assuming that you can do it, but you're going to use your supernatural power to find out all about them, and it freaks them out. We must remember that we are gods and goddesses and work to embody that energy. Again, twin flame energy, which is spirit says you're down here to learn that there's no separation. There's no separation from you and your creator. There's no separation from the energy of love, unconditional love. You're fragmented. This person is fragmented. It was survival mechanisms. It was the environments that you grew up in. It was what you were taught. It's like it wasn't wrong. However, there's spiritual blockages now that are preventing both of you from thriving. So Spirit says the universe conspires to bring you what you need. So a lot of times you're like, I don't need this fucking person now. Fuck them. Like that's, and Spirit says, yeah, that's where the energy that you should be at by the time that the twin flame actually changes energy. And you're like, well, why would you do that? Spirit says, yeah, you got to make that person work. Work. They have a closed heart chakra. You think that they want to give anything? They'll give you a tic tac and act like it's a lot. It's like, again, logical, linear, mathematical, money. Have you ever met a rich person that wasn't cheap or frugal? Come on. They're frugal. And it's because, hey, like I'm calculating what I'm going to buy with that dollar. It's going to go towards that house, that yacht that I'm planning on buying or whatever. I'm praying you'll come back after everything that's happened between us. I worry that you won't forgive me and allow me another chance. And Spirit says, yeah, that's where they have to be at. Spirit says you have to be disgusted and loathing them by the time that they come back because they were not taking you serious. They're still kind of like, well, maybe if you see me. Again, that's how cocky this person is, where you're like, what the fuck? I'm not like that. And the Spirit says, no, you don't have enough confidence, though. That's why you got this person. It's like this person thinks they're shady, they're smart. They're think who they are when they're on the top of the world. That's how they crashed and burned. It's again, now they're meeting someone that's actually has all the spiritual qualities that is going to teach them how to live in alignment with the energies of love, which means you're compassionate, vulnerable, all the higher levels of consciousness, because they're in the gutter. They don't know what they're doing. They want to fix it clearly now that they're ashes. They want to fix it. because who wants to be ashes? No one wants to be ashes, especially when this person has so much money, right? So they're worried, and God says they have to be. It's like because the person has to be worried and unsure. I'm not sure if they're certain for sure that the answer is no, they're not going to come back. And what we see here is they kind of already believe that no, but they're like, but maybe, which, because we had that connection and I still feel the pull and I still feel it and it has to still be there. And so again, they're in that mindset. Now, that doesn't mean that you're in that mindset. You know what I mean? And you're going to flip flop back and forth, Spirit says 100 times, and you won't know what you want until that moment. Because it's twin flame energy. That's why, it's like it depends. You might say, no, I don't want you back. And this person, like, was really, they're not going to take no for an answer, because they're expecting a no, even though they are like, well, maybe I can work my way. Remember, they normally get what they want. Their business, money, strategize, manipulative. That's the energy. And just when they were with you, they were dishonest and unfair. I wanted to see what they actually did. And that's because they had a loyalty to that other person, which is now recently cut off because this person's like, well, the person I want to be with actually cut me off. And so they're like, their life is, the person's like, okay, you can go, but you're not going to have $1. You can go to that person, but they're going to have to do everything for you. And they're not going to want to be with you. And that's why this person is like, I don't have enough money. I don't feel good about myself. So you're going to see this person like humbled. They're going to be completely different because, again, they were on top of the world. And now they're not on top of the world. Everything that they didn't like about you is what they love about you now. It's like if they thought, oh, you're too serious, you're too spiritual, you're too wholesome, you're too nice, you're too this, you're too that. Well, guess what? They like that energy now. And so Spirit's saying, all right, well, that's their plan, and that they're coming back. They just hope that it's going to be after everything that is done with them and that you're going to still be available. They don't know. So I have a feeling that they're going to try and bump into you. I don't think that this person's going to call you. I think that they're going to try and bump into you because they want to see you. And what they know is that you'll probably hang up, if they call or text message, that they have to do something more is what I'm getting at. All right. So we have to say again, why did you attract this person into your life? You're a mirror of whom, what comes into your life. Let's pull another one. All right. Let's see. What are the magic ones? Okay. Outdoors and nature, lies and secrets, loner, neglect, belittled, guidance, and frustration. Well, the inner child wound cards, sometimes we get gifts. I don't really think that loner is a bad thing, and I think guidance is good. It's like the guidance is that we have guidance from the higher self, the God part of self, and that would happen if you were emotionally and psychologically, didn't feel good the way you grew up emotionally and psychologically, belittled if our parent talked to us, talked down to us, and sometimes it's the way that they were talked to. They weren't really even aware, or they just were in a bad mood, and because they didn't know how to apply spirituality. They didn't live balanced lives. They were in poor relationships. They didn't get enough sleep. They hated their job for all those reasons. And so the parent really couldn't give to the child. It's just because they're dealing with their own shit. They're growing up the same time that we're growing up, and that's the thing that we forget. And they didn't have the tools. And so, you became a loner, because understand, if your parent is belittling you, unfortunately, we begin to like not feel good about ourselves, and then we begin to walk from that level, like how we deal with, the person that's around us at home all the time. Well, we take those behaviorisms out into the world, and we teach people how we want to be treated, and we do that unconsciously. And so that kind of what happened. Now the lies and the secrets to me is like when there's either infidelity, there's alcoholism, there's some sort of like imbalance that's going on in the household, which no one's talking about. However, in the fact that no one's talking about it, and everyone's kind of compromising their life, or when I say that, is making allowances, I should say, for whatever the lies and the secret is. That's time and energy that we're not becoming ourselves, finding ourselves. Really, that's why it says be like childlike in the Bible, because children go out and find themselves. Otherwise, we don't know who we are, like children, like that. It's when you ask a child, what do you want to do when you grow up? I always wanted to be whatever it is. Well, if you grow up in a household where there's lies and secrets such as alcoholism, or abuse of some sort, you know you become that. You don't put your energy towards becoming a lot of times. Now, it doesn't mean that you didn't check out. You did check out, because again, we see that there's a good connection to like outdoors and nature, and that's, to me, is God. But I also believe that you weren't grounded, and because being outdoors and nature represents grounding. So even though you had a good connection to God, it was you were in your head, you weren't grounded. And that's because it doesn't feel good to be around a parent that makes you feel bad about yourself. It's like you begin to hear them, but you don't really hear them. You're like, I hear you, but you're checked out. And because, again, they make everything difficult. It's frustrating to live with a toxic person that is like talking down to you all the time, making you feel bad about yourself. So it was living in that environment that made you become very intuitive, like I said, where you had to like see what kind of mood that parent was going to be in, or what was going on, whether you were safe. Because hey, you did the wrong thing, you were going to be talked to like you were a dog, that you were going to be neglected. And neglected here to me means emotionally, psychologically. So it just was easier just to not say anything at all. And so spirit says, so you see, it was like you didn't, like, it's not that you didn't learn, but being that emotionally you didn't get anything, then a child is going to then focus so much on their comfortability, their well-being, because there's no support. So you might have continually went shopping, or always spent your money on gum or candy or whatever, and friends, but you didn't put your time towards becoming anything. When we look at prodigies and we look at people that are in the Olympics, they didn't start when they were 12 or 15. They started when they were like 3, 5, 6, and they got the support, they got the nurturing. Every now and again, yes, you do have an Olympic player or someone that plays in the major leagues or whatever, like that, didn't have support, but they focused and they focused and they focused and they focused. They reparented themselves at that point. They were the parent to themselves, where they found that basketball took them into a new life. They did the painting, and the painting took them into a new life, whatever it was. So we know healing comes in the fact of becoming ourselves. It's again because children have to go out and find. That's when they dream and say, oh, this is what I want to become. You didn't have that. You were around somebody that made you feel bad. So intuitively, like I said, your survival psychologically and emotionally was like, I need to know what's going to happen with this parent, like whether it's safe to be here or not, or like emotionally how I can deal with this, where children should not be focused on that. It's like they should be allowed to have their unique unfoldment process, feel comfortable in their body, and and feel safe in their environment. And when you live with someone like that, you never feel safe because you were programmed. Now you go out into the world and now you always feel like people bully you. You don't realize it's because the habits and behaviorisms that you built were on from that living in that environment. You became hyper vigilant, right? So we have to see the damage, and where spirit says, well, you needed to integrate. This is why this relationship, it's like, again, to balance the body, mind, and spirit. So you didn't just attract a person that was fragmented, you're fragmented. Spirit saying, it's like, and now it's time to live authentically and boldly, unafraid to be yourself, unafraid, unapologetically be you, live out loud. It's like you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, because this person has to think that they kind of lost you, and you also need to know whether you really want to be with this person. And you won't know unless you try and live the best life that you could possibly live, meaning that you invest in you, you become you, then you meet people, the universe matches that energy. And don't you think that the universe is going to bring you somebody else? Of course. That's the way that this person says, oh, I'm going to smack this person on the side of the head. It's like, be like, well, now look, this person has somebody else, like, what are you going to do about it? Be nervous. Spirit says, and then you'll have to choice. Do I really want to be with you? I don't know, because I just met this person. And spirit says, and that has to happen because this person did you wrong, did you dirty. An eye for an eye, but it's not when you do it. Spirit says you let me do it, because then it happens organically, meaning, hey, you took too long to come back, you've been sitting on your ass the whole time, not knowing what the hell you're gonna do. So it's like, we don't have time for that. So Spirit says it's about you right now. You're on the right path, but you're creating your own way. And understand what that means is the path unfolds while you're on it. It's like you're just putting out the energy out there the best way that you know how, and spirit does the rest. But you have to have a clear focus on what it is that you're trying to create for yourself. So it doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're putting the energy. It's not how perfect you are. Remember, it's how much love you pour into something. Remember that. And spirit says, you need to envision some brighter horizons too. Like, I mean, that person came to you that way because of their environment. It was not really because they were such a horrible person. It's that they've been beat down too. Because no one stays in a relationship with somebody and lives fragmented like otherwise. It's like they feel like they're responsible. So spirit says, you're not responsible for anyone's happiness. That person's not responsible for anyone's happiness except for your own and their own. And spirit says, so you need to envision brighter horizon by actually going into the world. How else are you going to see your genius? The God part of self is your creative genius. How else are you going to see that? You don't know that until you find what you love and you find what you're passionate about. And spirit says, and you're not going to find that in your backyard. That's not going to happen. It is. Everything is a reconditioning when you grow up in an environment like that. But we are all the alchemists of our life. And that what it is to take note when something happens that triggers you. You need to really get a journal and write in the journal, and write like what the situation was, what it triggered with inside of you, and what that karmic theme was. You'll be able to see what the karmic theme is, and then it's whatever that theme is. I'm unworthy, I'm not good enough, it's then to put the energy towards something that's going to fill you, that you get to see a different perception of yourself. It's a faith walk, meaning you're doing the energy, and we all start broken wherever we are starting from, if we grew up in that type of environment. But it takes a mustard seed. God makes that multiply. As you're giving the energy, you're getting the energy back. The universe always conspires to bring you what you need. As one door closes, another door opens. You're not in charge of the way that you're going to achieve success or heal. Only God's in charge of that. Only God can change your mind and your heart about how you perceive yourself. So that's the thing. And understand that God part of self is that spirit part of self that resides inside of you, resides inside of every single person, and is our connection to each other, regardless of race, religion, creed, habits, behaviorisms, doesn't matter. We all have that spirit inside of ourselves. When we die, that part of ourselves goes back to source. And understand, we're down here to learn that there's no separation. And so it's a faith walk. It's like we're born into these imbalanced environments that make us form these habits and behaviorisms. So you can see where your blockages are, but you have to take time out to do the meditation, to do the reflection practices, because we're all the alchemists of our own life. And so just know it's not just about knowing in your mind, but actually embodying a whole new consciousness. And I say that because a lot of people think, well, I know I forgave my mother a long time ago, or I forgave. And it's like, till you see a different version of yourself, you didn't really 100% forgive. Because Spirit says, well, you're in physical form for a reason. And remember, it's to learn and to manifest. You only have a certain amount of time on this earth to do so. You never know when it's going to end. So again, we strive to be the best versions of ourselves, but we can't do it on our own. Spirit says every self-honoring boundary you set has the potential to heal the other person. You see, and that's what you did with the twin flame thing. It's like your boundaries are teaching this person again how they need to hold themselves, how to respect you, how what they should look, what it needs to look like. You're the muse. And that's because this person doesn't know. How would they know? We don't know. That's why it's important to surround yourself with people that are going to support you and love you and build you up and tell you how great you are. Not people that are going to, sometimes they're your friend. Who needs that? It's like, no friend is going to be 100% perfect, but the second guessing is not good. Boundaries teach people, no, that's not acceptable. It's like, and sometimes they don't know, they're not aware, they're not present. Allowing people their own path is a powerful way to show incredible unconditional love. And the Spirit says, again, you're not controlling. You're allowing this person to have their unique unfoldment process. You too are having your unique unfoldment process. And you know what that is? You're not codependent. Hey, you know what you both were before? Codependent. You know why? Because there was fragmentation, and which made you feel like, well, there's things that don't work in my life. And God says, that's you. Because I don't make things that work sometimes. Your toaster works sometimes. The vacuum works sometimes. But you work all the time. But if you put your pants on like a shirt, it's going to look not right. So again, try to do something different. Do something different. Healing is embodying the new consciousness. Put the pants on the legs. You're going to see, oh, it works different. And the Spirit says, now you got it. An open mind and the willingness to entertain new ideas repels stagnancy and lack of growth. And so Spirit's saying is that you're always learning. You're always learning. And that's what the time is for now, is to learn. You got deep wisdom, and Spirit says that's important, that because you'll never make the same mistakes again. You're down here to learn. It's again, and when you learn, you're evolving into higher states of consciousness. The twin flame helps you do that. Because again, you're teaching them through your boundaries. You're holding to a standard and you're saying, it needs to look like this. Otherwise, you won't be in my life. Thank you. And that person has unconditional love for you, and they're like, okay, is this right? And you're like, that's what you're doing. And guess what? That's for this. I'm sure that you'll turn around to them eventually and be like, is this right? When it comes to like certain things with business. And they'll say, no, it's not. It's like, let me show you how to do it. And let me tell you, both people are going to need to really have a lot of patience because there's deep spiritual blockages there. And so those blockages are just walls due to this is the way I lived and this is the way I survived. So both parties are going to need a lot of patience. That's why there's a lot of passion with the twin flame connection. But you're like because you're dealing with somebody that is like they don't think the way that you think. Like it's so easy, it's right there. What's the matter with you? And then if you start crying because they're gonna be like, oh my god, like they have to be more emotionally intelligent. They have to be softer. They have to integrate feminine qualities where you're going to be asked to integrate more masculine qualities. You don't know what that looks like. You might be like, I don't really know how to like do whatever it is. It's to help transform. It's like, again, the twin flame connection is about that transforming those wounds, turning pain into power. It just to help you evolve, to learn, to heal, to grow, because you get the story of who you think you are from when you grow up in society and family, and then you get the real story. You see the real story of who you truly are when you get to see God's glory work through you. And that happens when you're in alignment, and you're not aligned, and we need help sometimes. So Spirit says, well, I got just the thing, to make you heal. And then it sends that message out to the universe, and the universe conspires to make that so. All to help you both, again, build that inner strength. And Spirit says the key to making a twin flame connection work is nothing moves you from your path to the light, because you have complete confidence in yourself. You realize your innate qualities and abilities, and know that with God, you can do anything. All the power that you need is within inside of you. There's no separation. That fragmentation doesn't need to be there, God says. I don't like that, because then you don't feel supported. You don't feel loved. You feel like there's something wrong with you. And I don't make things that are wrong, but your life is going to be a reflection of that. So the universe and God are always on the job 24/7, trying to send you that help, so that you can evolve back into your original energy, so that you can be restored back into the energy of unconditional love. I'm going to leave that there. Love yourself. Be true to yourself. Because remember, if you can imagine it, you can create it, and the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. So imagine good things. Bye-bye.